We all have our individual path to
Me a
God.
year. Seen God move in different ways that I never thought
This
of.
month, we're in $1,000.
$1 million worth of real estate.
It was very kind of emotional to me. And he's been working for a company for over 20 years. Yeah, I feel like I can relate to you a lot on that one because again, my family, it was kind of like the basics, like, oh, thank God, like, blah, blah, blah. But they weren't really living that way, you know. And then I've known him for a while, and then he always knew God, but he wasn't as strong as he is now in his faith and everything. And then he really pushed me in the beginning. It's like, I don't want to go to church. Like, I just didn't want to. And I didn't realize why it was. Like, your flesh doesn't want to do these things. It doesn't want to go to church. It doesn't want to read the word. It doesn't want to do none of that. And then once I started knowing God, and then my life has completely like changed in a different way. And I'm so grateful to God that he used you to. So I feel like I just felt really relatable and really touched by that.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people that don't know God, they automatically assume that the person talking to them about God was raised in a Christian household, or that that their parents made them go to church. In my case, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I think the only one is Isael, maybe,
Yeah,
because I wasn't raised Christian either.
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes when people bring that up as well, because like he knows that, but that's because we were basically raised. That's like my brother. But a lot of people say, yeah, you said because you were raised in a Christian household and your stuff, you were raised in a religious household. But I didn't really start like following Christ not too long ago, because I think it's even worse. I knew it was right, what's wrong. You didn't know. I knew it was right and wrong, and I was still doing what's wrong. So I don't think it's the same thing, but it's kind of hard explaining that to someone else whenever you're trying to invite them to church or trying to get them to know Christ.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, I think the apostle said at one time, like, your parents could, they could force you to go to church, they could do whatever you want, but there's a point in time where their faith isn't going to save you.
Yeah.
Your only salvation is yourself, like you said, making that choice for yourself. And, maybe you were, like, I've known people that were born and, like, raised in the church, and
Yeah.
they've kind of departed from that life.
Yeah.
And then, like, at the end of the day, you make your own decisions.
Actually, they have one of the hardest, I guess, in my words, one of the hardest challenges when it comes to their walk in faith with God, because there's a lot of pressure, right? Because I really feel like we all have our individual path to God.
Yeah.
What I've gone through is not the same thing that you've gone through, and the way that I, connect with God is completely different than the way that you do. And there's nothing bad about it. And I think that we do have to realize and kind of understand that we're all different. I mean, in the simplest thing, like just in cars, Yeah, we'll go back to cars.
Yeah.
Why do some people like certain cars? I don't know. I don't understand.
Why do people like Mustangs?
Why? I didn't want to say it, but Victor,
I'm not a car guy. You can blast me. I'm not a car guy.
Why? So many great cars out
I
there.
stand by that statement.
Yeah,
You don't like Mustangs?
No, if you are a Mustang owner,
Do you?
I'm not against them.
See,
It's just
I
that
have a Camaro. I have a Camaro, so like I'm not too far away from those.
Yeah.
But I do
like
not
them.
associate with those bandits that be doing all those things.
Takeovers.
I text great things about Mustangs, and lately people are like, don't say that, don't say that.
They've definitely gotten some hate, for sure.
Yeah.
going a little bit more into like what you do, because now I feel like it's almost a wave. It's a positive and negative of younger people trying to get into real estate and stuff. Well, it's one of the most common misconceptions that you think you run into a lot with people asking you for advice about getting into real estate.
That's a good question. And I'm glad you asked it, because, now people see some of the fruit with the hard labor that I've done. But, I'll be in the streets and people will be like, oh, what do you do for them? Because they see the car, and that's great, because I do want to be an inspiration of people. But I think the biggest misconception that people have about real estate is that you're going to make a bunch of money. That's not the case. Number one, I've been doing this, since I was 18. That's when I got licensed, and I've been putting the work. I was an assistant where I was just literally just a paper boy, the coffee boy, right? But I understood and I was faithful of my position at that time because I was with some, amazing salespeople. They've been doing it for years, and I was just soaking it all in. And so I understood that was my chance. Some people, they want to get their license and jump in and think that the first year they're gonna make $100,000.
Can I make a point here? I think we can go back to this part of like opportunity, and I think real estate is a great opportunity. It's one of the most wanted ones, but it's also what you do with that opportunity. So I wouldn't give the credit to real estate more than it's just a great opportunity, because I know how this guy is. Eudi, he's very analytic. He puts a lot of work into what he does. So he took that opportunity, which is real estate, which is great, but we cannot, take the credit from Eudi for. I know what type of person he is.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to reach that level, you gotta put the work into it, and you gotta be really, really detailed in what you do, and show a lot of excellency. And I think it's a good mix of opportunity plus what you do. And going back to the quote of like luck or success is when opportunity and right mindset and knowledge, wisdom, they collapse. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I totally agree. And so going back to that, people ask, what do you do for a living? And my response is, no matter what is it that you're doing, make sure you're doing it 1,000%. Like, everyone's watching you. Because in the most minimal thing that you think you are doing, that's shaping your character, making you more disciplined. And you don't know who is watching you that's going to take you to the next level. And that's what happened to me. So before I got into real estate, I was cleaning toilets with my mom. So my mom had a cleaning business that she opened up around 2008, 2009, that I actually helped her open once I got back from the DR. As a middle schooler, I got on sunbiz.org and I opened up what today is Navarre Cleaning. Navarre Cleaning today is, has a backlog of about, I think, 400 or 500 homes, all ranging in price points, but she has price points of $12 million, here in Marsh Landing, Ponte Vedra. And so I've seen how God has helped my mom working so hard.
Yeah.
And so I kind of then, followed suit. And so whatever it is that you're doing, if you're going to be a trash boy, be the best trash boy that there is. So I want to touch a little bit on how I got into real estate, because my mother wasn't educated. I had no one around me that was in real estate, and I didn't know anything about real estate. Matter of fact, I think, a house came to be a thing for us when I was in high school, and around 10th grade is when my mom purchased her first house. So, because I was cleaning for my mom, in high school, there was this account, or we call it account, right? Like a client. There you go. That I was taking care of, and it was like this big 3-story building in Nocatee, Florida, and I was in charge of making sure it was clean, right? And I'd go in after school, or once everyone closed, and one night, after doing that for years, I've already graduated high school. I'm going to college. I want to study business administration, but really I don't know where I'm going. So I'm just taking the basics. And in the very morning, I'm working 2 jobs, right? I'm working for my mom, and in the mornings I'm working for Ralph Lauren. Although I was doing their inventories. Like I'll go in that. Yeah. It's going at 4 or 5 in the morning, doing their inventory in the back before they open around 9, 10 a.m. I would go to school, and then after school at night, I would clean. Long story short, I'm cleaning this building as I did for many years. And again, asking God, at this time, I'm learning. I knew who God was. I'm asking, what am I going to do? What I know that you're going to help me out. You're going to put me on a different level. But what am I going to do? And I just didn't know. But I was faithful in cleaning those toilets, vacuuming, throwing away that trash, at Polo, doing what I had to do. and just living life as optimistic as possible. Well, one night, there's this lady that's working overnight at that building. While I'm trying to clean, she's there. And typically at 9 p.m., there's no one there, right? The place is closed. And she's there, and something just kind of, I feel like the Holy Spirit was like, asked this lady for a job. And
You already had 2 jobs.
I already had 2 jobs.
Yeah, it has to be God.
And God was asking for another job. So he told me, like, ask for another job. I'm like, so,
You're obedient.
but I didn't know what the building was about, because it was just a bunch of offices, right? I wasn't obedient.
Oh, you were?
Mm-mm.
Tell me about it.
So here I'm vacuuming. This lady, oh, hey, sorry. And the voice came to mind. I asked this lady for a job. I didn't. I freaked out. I got a little nervous, and I left. So I finished my work, whatever. Didn't think nothing of it. Next day, again, I go to clean. It's 9 p.m. The lady is still there. Again,
Wow.
she's not there at night.
Yeah.
But I guess she's been busy or whatever, and coincidentally. So this time I was like, all right. The voice came again. Asked that lady for a job. Now I was like, all right, this ain't no fluke.
Yeah.
Something's telling me to ask this lady for a job. So I have this vacuum on me, right? That I'm carrying on.
The
vacuum.
backpack
Yeah,
ones,
the
yeah.
backpack ones, you know exactly. I take my vacuum off. I approach this lady. Look, random kid, you know? I'm 18 years old. I approach this lady, and I'm like, stand in front of her office. I go, can I get a job? She goes, yep, you start tomorrow. I'm like, what? She goes, yep. I just opened up 2 positions for sales assistant, and I think that you'd be great. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and how much am I gonna get paid? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, come on, class.
This is straight out of a movie.
Honestly, it's amazing, and I wish that what I'm sharing this testimony is for, number 1, an inspiration, motivation. Listen to that voice, and 2, don't be afraid, and 3, whatever you're doing, do it right. Do it like everyone's watching you. So she goes, yep, you start tomorrow. And we will do an interview, but I'm going to hire you. I'm like, why? She's like, I've been watching you. I see that you're trusted with this multi-million-dollar building. You have keys to every office here. So that's trust. You're obviously doing a job, so hardworking. And I feel like you'd do amazing. You know, I feel like you'd be great. And long story short, changed my life. So I did ask her how much I was going to get paid. I was going to get paid $15 an hour. Big money.
That's not bad.
Oh, yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
at Polo, I think I was getting paid like $8. And at night with my mom, it was like kind of come and go.
This was a couple years ago, though, so you got to...
Yeah,
get
right?
that.
Like a couple of years ago. Yeah,
Minimum wage a couple years ago was like $7 an hour.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so at night, working for my mom, really, it was not a lot of money, or even if I was getting paid, it was more like helping out the family, right? And just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited. I tell my mom, I get home. I'm like, Mom, I'm quitting. Yeah, I can't work for you no more. I get a new job tomorrow. She goes, where? The heck? What are you talking about? You know that building that I clean, Mom? They build houses there. They're in real estate. And I'm going to be an assistant for them. She goes, all right, stop the cap. Yeah. Well, I made it the next day. I reported to my interview, and I was hired. She goes, you're going to be an assistant for 1 year. You're going to go to get your real estate license, and I'm going to take you under my wing, and it's going to change your life. And it really, really did.
Wow.
Eudi, can you tell the story of the way you walked?
Oh, yeah.
Because yeah, Eudi, I didn't walk straight. I usually didn't do that because of an analogy of humility with the Bible. My posture, my posture. And Eudi told me this story, and thank you, Eudi, for correcting me on those little things that make a big difference. Now I have a better posture. But tell him the story of why you value that so much.
Yeah, so I remember that. So the next day I reported myself to go to get to my interview in this big building, that they have glass windows that they can see outside, but that you can't see from outside in.
Window tint, baby.
Well, the lady, the vice president of sales for this company that had already said she's basically hiring me, my next step, the big boss, right? The final boss was the division president. As I'm walking from my car, the parking lot, into the building, they're watching me. But I've always believed in little details, and I was walking straight up, posture, very confident, even though I knew a lick of what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was going to get paid a little bit more than I was. I had no idea what was going on. I really wasn't. I didn't know. But because the voice was telling me, I trusted it, and I just said, full send.
Fool. Yeah.
But so later on, after the interview, everything, I'm hired. The VP of sales said, you were already hired before you even walked into the door. The division president loved the way that you walked. You had confidence in your walk, and that's something that we need in our sales team.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's good
no
story.
way. And so then I shared that with Victor because one time I saw him walking with the incorrect posture and not the confidence that I knew that was within him. And see how those little things that I've learned and I was told, how I can share it with others.
Yeah. It's not about real estate only.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Wait.
crazy.
That's just funny to me because I feel like we kind of talk about this in a funny way, how we can read people by the way they are. Like, this guy's a loser, bro. Or like, not even to be rude, but like, or this guy does this and this guy has a lot of money, by like these simple little mannerisms. But people really do judge you and base what they think of you before even meeting you on little things like that, your posture.
Which is good and bad, right?
Yeah,
But
but-
that's just something of being self-aware that it's out there in life. And
You're
if you,
already in it, play it. You're already in the game, play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just slouched, and then he said
Yeah,
that
got me-
story.
got me-
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's sitting straight. It's like- No, what about you, Victor? What are some common misconceptions about tinting and business in general?
Okay, I think business in general, misconceptions, you know, this is I tell you to this day and age, everyone wants to be like the business owner. I got into being a business owner. Can I go back to my mom? I gotta go back to it. Yeah, because I learned so much doing that.
I admire people
Yeah.
that admire their parents. And everything they do, you could just tell like their parents had an influence in their lives.
Oh yeah, mom and dad, best ever. So, yeah, going back to that, I was going to school for marine engineering. When we have to move here and all that happens, when I go back to, okay, I'm gonna stay here. We're gonna stay. We're not going back. What I'm gonna study, right? In Venezuela, I see that the culture is more of a, if you're a marine engineer, or an engineer in general, or most of the positions that you get for work, you do it in the same city. You don't travel. It's usually local, right?
Yeah.
So I saw myself like fixing ships or building ships in one area, one city. When I come here, I see that the guys who put the locks on the doors of a building, he's traveling from city to city hours of, he's not at home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? If the guys who change locks on doors or even an electrician, it's like running around the place. Imagine someone who wants to build a ship.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be gone. Like, I'm not going to be stable.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a family. And I knew that something that gave me a lot of peace after my mom passed away is that when I reflect on it, I spend almost every single day with her. Like I mentioned, I used to sleep with her, same bedroom. Like, spend so much time that I don't regret,
Yeah.
that time. So I was like, oh, what about my dad? What about my siblings? Because I have my parents divorced. I have siblings on my dad's side. I love them. They're the best. So what about, this new family that I have now?
Yeah.
And when I marry someone, I want to be there. So I cannot, I cannot even be an electrician here in America because I'm going to be moving. So I was like, the only way to solve that is maybe opening something. and doing it on my time, and I respect a lot God and Sundays, and I'm a church guy. So that was the reason what got me into business, right? Not the be your own boss and all that. So another thing that got me into business was serving people. I love serving people. So misconceptions when it comes to business is that if you don't love to serve others, it's not gonna work. Uh, one of the things that I see a lot is that most people go do bad in business because of their egos. So you think that when you're your own boss, you can do anything you want, and it's actually what the customer wants. So I see people, business is not easy. You gotta surrender a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're in control of everything. Actually, like you gotta manage a lot of things.
Yeah.
So when you're in a 9 to 5, which I used to be, it was easier because you can plan. You can, say like after 5, I'm gonna do this. When you are a business owner, that's not happening. I really thank God for my family, for my dad, for my siblings, because I almost live here at the shop, and that's why it looks so good. But I'm doing all this. I'm doing
Is
all
his house.
this because my house is 7 minutes away from here. I can see my dad. I can see my siblings. If you are not that type of person that are willing to put a lot of time, a ton of time into your business, it's not gonna work.
Victor, you said something about being a business owner, you got to be humble, and it's what the customer says. I want to share with the audience or the people watching that this guy, in such a short time of PSG being open, 730 reviews,
39.
39,
Did I-
739 reviews, all 5 stars on Google.
Wow.
That's
So you
great.
can't even fake that.
Listen, when you talk about humbling and it's the customer's way, you perfected it. Please share with us what is one of the things that you kind of like, how you got to that level. That's pretty.
That's a great question.
That's amazing.
A lot of people ask for that, and I'm like you, and I've picked a lot of things about you when it comes to analyzing things. I'm very, very analytic. So when we started 3 years ago, it's when I started. Like we launched the business legally. Like we, registered it and had the like. I started with this shop because I was mobile. I didn't have even a name. I used to have sale. I didn't have nothing. So whenever we launched the business 3 years ago, I started with a few reviews, like 15 reviews, and I see businesses that they have like 300 reviews, and I'm like, how do I get there? But they haven't been in business for 17, 18 years. I went back and checked the oldest review of the business, and I'm like, okay, how are we gonna do it here? And I was like, okay, guys, we're gonna get reviews from everybody. It's risky because when you ask for a review, they can leave the negative. If you don't ask for it, but you're exposed to, okay, it's gonna be positive or negative.
Some people are just mean.
Oh yeah, some customers joke about it, but they have said, I'm gonna leave a 1-star review to be the only one with the 1-star, and they joke about it, right?
Yeah.
But I know there might be some truth to it. So what I've seen lately is that I read the reviews of all my competitors. I do. I read them. I love that. Instead of being like checking WhatsApp feed, I check reviews. Like if you got one yesterday, you got one today, I check that. So
Dang.
I see that most people try to solve the issue after the bad review. So people might say like, let me give you an example. It's like,
It's like they wait till the review is out. It's like they wait till the review is posted for them to ask what happened.
Yeah, you gotta be humble before it happens. You gotta humble yourself before you see the negative outcome.
And how
So
do you do that?
what?
And how do you do that?
So I see when I check competitors, it's like people say, "Oh, I went there for my appointment," and one example could be like, I get there for my appointment and I got 15 minutes late, and the lady at the desk said that, they have another cars and they cancel my appointment and didn't give me my deposit back. Things like that, you see. And they were rude with me, and and after that you see the comment at the bottom, the response to the review is like, some people try to fight it, and they're like, no, you were actually 25 minutes late and I have the screenshot, and yeah, and our policy says this and that. They try to fight it, right? But what I see is that most people try to fix it on the review. It's like, hey, John, this is David, the owner of X and X business. Please give us a call back and we'll have this problem solved at the earliest convenience, right? They say it at the end. So I talked to my guys because some customers, they're hard to please. But I was like, guys, are we gonna do it after the bad review, or are we gonna do it before? Like, you wanna apologize with the customer. Sometimes we are not wrong, but like there was a customer. I don't know if he's gonna ever watch this, but he comes with a Porsche Panamera, like 2017. We work on the car. Car looks phenomenal. He takes it home, and when he gets home, he sends us a picture of a scuff on the bumper, and he says that there are like little cords that when you open the hatch, they hold like a platform in the back. And he's like, yeah, you scratched my car, and also these cords are broken here. And we're like, I asked the guys, like, guys, did we scratch the car? And what about these little things? It's like, one of my guys says, Victor, they're not broken. It's just that I forgot to put them on because he was in a hurry. And he actually saw the car pulling it and pulling out, and we didn't hear anything like we scratched the car. So I was like, okay, how are we going to do about this? And they are like, no, Victor, I didn't do it. Okay, tell him to bring the car. We tell him, he was mad. We told him to bring the car. He's like furious outside, and he's like, yeah, you scratched my car here. I bought the car and I walked around it, and I bought the car a couple of days ago. I know it wasn't there because I washed the car. I was like, man, this guy washed the car. This guy, it has to be us then. And you broke these little things. I call one of my team members, and he says, no, it's not broken. He's like, it's broken because I tested it. I tried it. It's broken. He's like, Tyson, can you put it on? I go, and put it on. Put the two little clips, and they clip. I'm like, oh, I thought they were broken, but you did the scuff here on my bumper. And how are we gonna do about this? Because I run a law firm, and but I'm like, ooh. I was like, okay, let me call my painter. We're gonna paint it. But how are you gonna take my car there? How it's gonna work? Because I have to work, and how are you gonna do it? I was like, okay, don't worry. You follow me. I'll drive you in the Tesla. I'll take you to wherever you wanna go, right? And I have work to do here, but I'm like, call my painter. He takes care of us. We took it to the bottle shop, and when we show the car, my painter says in front of him, it's like, Victor, this is all paint. Somebody tried to fix this before in front of him. And he's like, oh, I didn't know about that. And I'm like, don't worry, we're gonna cover it anyways. Took care of him.
Customer's right.
Yeah, customer's right.
Always right.
I could be,
Yeah, no, that wasn't us then.
Yeah,
Bye.
I could be like, you see that, I'm trying to justify myself. And after that, take the customer to work. And by the way, he lived close to the body shop. He's like, don't worry. After he knew that, we didn't do it, he's like, no, don't worry. I'll pick it up. Yeah. Next day, we see a Google review. He left a Google review, 5 stars. Great.
Wow.
$200 it cost me to fix it.
200.
But some people wanna. I thought it was gonna be like $700, honestly, for a bumper of a Panamera. But God works his way. So $200. but some people try to fix it after the bad review. So that's why I think I got them, and I'm very like open to people. I tell them, hey, what didn't you like about our service? If it's not about review, tell me. I mean, if you're not a 5-star review, tell me what we have to do.
I learned something, and this is something that has kind of stuck with me. Good news fast, bad news faster. So
Elaborate on that.
think about it. Whatever is that was happening with like this customer having this bad experience, assuming that something happened to his car at your shop, I need to know that now, like right now, so I can resolve it now before it becomes a bigger issue.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Talking about going back on the misconceptions of business, I also wanted to add on, because I feel like people look at this as like greed almost, because I'm very in the belief that if you're gonna have a business, like, you better make a crap load of money off of it, because, and it sounds greedy, like it sounds greedy, but to be honest, people don't understand that in whatever area it is, because I work with e-commerce and stuff, so people think it's less work. It's the same amount of work, if not more. When you own a business, you're doing more work. You're working constantly, 24/7. You're doing more work than anybody who works a 9 to 5 in whatever area it is. Except if you made the same amount of money, that would just be absurd. You know what I'm saying? Even if your profession took many years of college and stuff, a lot of people are passionate about what they do, so they go to college for 8-9 years to do whatever they want to do. But they have a good schedule, 40 hours a week or whatnot, or maybe even more. And they're making a good amount of money, $100K plus a year or something like that. But if you have a business and you're not working 40 hours a week, you're working 2 times that, plus you can't sleep because you're thinking about the business, about what went wrong, what could go wrong, and what you have to work, and you're still making the same amount of money. That sounds absurd to me. Like, unless you had this like weird secret obsession with business, how would you be able to do that without seeing like compensation for that? You know what I mean? So I'm a firm believer in that.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
One misconception here. A lot of people want to open their business because they are afraid that they can get fired, that the boss doesn't appreciate how they do and all that,
Yeah.
or basically because they can get fired, or they cannot. They see making more money. It's harder to make more money working for somebody else. But you gotta see that as a business owner, like when you start. I remember the first day I went on my car and quit my job and started Ting Ting. Like, I was like, how? I got 3 customers on Monday, but for Tuesday I didn't have any. I was like, how do I know that I'm gonna get customers for tomorrow?
Yeah. By the way, I knew Victor wasn't a car guy when one of the first cars he tinted was my GTR, and he didn't even know what that was.
So, yeah,
My car, it was somewhere there in the very beginning of PSG tint.
Yeah.
He tinted the GTR, and he had no clue what it was. That's when I knew he wasn't a car guy. But keep going.
Okay, yeah. So business require a ton of faith, a ton. Tell me, like, you don't know if it's gonna work. You don't know if you're gonna have customers tomorrow. You don't know, like, what's gonna happen. So, but I have my dad on my side. So when I first started, like, going and doing business by myself, I saw like how my dad, he never worked. I mean, he worked for people, but he's always been like on his own. And I was like, this guy has a lot of faith. How he would spend. My dad spent like crazy money on our first house. He's like, Victor, I saw like almost all the cars I had, and I just left one car for sale and started all over again. I was like, how? So business requires a lot of faith, and you may not be fired, but you may not get customers.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is basically the same thing.
It's the same thing. Or a customer can fire. I mean, if your customers fire you, you don't have a job anymore.
Same thing.
So it requires a lot of faith, and yeah,
And work.
and blind. You gotta
determination.
go blind, like, because you don't have the building. I didn't have this. This was just in my mind, and what I have, the other things I have there in my mind. So it's all faith.
Yeah, and another thing is too, you could have been building this business, doing well in the business, but then not forgetting about the business and not reinvesting. And look at what you've done. you reinvest into your business, and it shows.
For sure.
A lot of
Yeah.
people create a great business. They see the money, they get lost, they start buying nice things, being flashy, all that good stuff, and not reinvesting into their business.
Yeah, so business is long term, and what made me put all this money into this business is that if I pass away, right, I wanna make sure that I created something where when you walk in, it's like, you know, somebody, like, there's a little bit of God here, and it shows in the excellency of how you do things. So because some of my ambassadors, they have told me, like, Victor, you can have a tint shop on a tint and make a lot of money, right? I can do that. I tint it out of my car, and I would make a lot of money, right? But I mean, now I could make a lot of money. I could save a lot because I don't pay rent, I don't pay overhead, I don't invest in anything, just gas. But I was like, if I pass away, what did I create? It's
Yeah.
something that
Legacy.
that when somebody says, you know, I see that in the Bible. Like when Solomon was gonna build a temple, it's like we gotta do something great
Excellence.
that matches, the greatness of our God. So if I'm in business not because I want to have beautiful walls, it's just because I'm not spending more, but I'm creating something for God. Like the money I wouldn't take with me, but what I created, I think that's what we are here for. Yeah.
I wanted to cut into a quick section we have here. It's a game called This or That. So it's just gonna be
Interesting.
it's just gonna be a couple of questions. We want both of you guys to answer.
It's like rapid fire, so they're gonna like.
Yeah, it's just gonna
So it's
be
gonna go
it's
like-
gonna be this or that and no explanation whatsoever for every single answer.
Okay.
We might get into an explanation from one of them because
But okay,
I don't even know the
okay, but it's gonna be different questions or
No, so I think you're gonna be like, okay, this or that, blue or red, and then you're gonna say red, and then you decide red or blue,
Mhm.
and then another
can we
question.
say at the same time? Because if not, it may feel like we copied each other. Is it
no,
funny?
it's fine. I think it's
Okay,
yeah.
let's go.
However you guys want.
You're gonna be
I'm
honest.
excited.
We'll do Victor answer first and then Ellie answers.
Okay.
Porsche or Lamborghini?
For me, yeah, I'm just buying time. I would say Lamborghini.
Porsche.
English or Spanish?
English.
Spanish.
First to move is gay.
What?
All right, next question. Next one.
It's just about again.
I caught it. Victor moved.
Is it what?
What?
Victor moved. He didn't catch it.
My English is not the greatest.
Oh, that was unfair then. No, I
but-
like that.
Yeah. But I like English because the terms are more exact with it. Like my Spanish from Maracaibo, Venezuela, is just
Oh,
all mixed or dialect.
gotcha. It's a short list. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Nike.
Nike. Blue or red?
Blue.
Blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
This one you can give an explanation for this one because he's a big fan of one of them. So I want to see if you guys are a big fan of the same person or the other person, LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Why? I'm not an expert on it, but I'd say Michael Jordan. I don't want to debate into it. Let's stick with that.
Ellie?
Michael Jordan, and there's no explanation.
All right, I want you to answer this one too. Kenneth.
It's obviously LeBron James.
Do you want to go into why? Kenneth?
Diddy party.
Ain't no
That
party like a
was-
Diddy
But
party.
he did not attend those
precious
levels,
you were there,
those rooms.
Because you were there.
I don't know, but I hope he wasn't. I really don't want to debate into it because I think I'm very emotional when it comes to that
Yeah.
specific debate, and I think it'd just be better if we moved on to the next one.
Do you have more of this or that?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Wait, you have more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Keep going.
Okay. Streetwear or business casual?
Business guy should
Business casual.
all day.
Although I'm kind of like more urban today, but
Yeah. Kind of contradicts yourself a little. Louis Vuitton or Gucci?
If I have to say something, I'd say Louis Vuitton.
Hermes.
Let's say
That's
Oh.
not an option, but
None. Hermes.
okay.
I'm not into that too much. I say PSG. Look at that. Look at
Yeah.
PSG 10.
That should have been your response.
Europe or America?
I don't know, Europe. I might say Europe because I want to go. Is that valid? But I don't know. You know, I cannot compare them.
I'd say based on where would you want to live?
Oh, I don't know how life is in Europe. America is great. Jacksonville. That's the spot.
Jacksonville all day through.
Oh, yeah.
From the ghetto.
The ghetto.
Apple or Android?
Apple all day.
All day, Steve Jobs. That's my dude. That's my
Apple,
guy.
personally. I don't know. I heard he was a mean
All right,
guy.
he was a mean guy.
Yeah.
He made a mean phone.
Mean money.
Mean money.
That's all we care about here. Okay.
No, I like to hear that, you know, it was a great marketer, like, and I like to, you know, watch some videos about him. Great mindset when it comes to business.
Okay. Soccer or basketball?
Basketball.
Soccer all day.
Really, Ellie?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me.
Really? Because I'm black?
No. Next question.
It's because he's black. It's because he's black. That's funny. That's funny. This isn't part of this or that, but it's just a quick question. These are just, you know, funny little questions before we wrap up here. Do you guys drink caffeine?
No,
No.
I don't. Not at all.
I do not drink caffeine.
I don't remember the last day I had a Coke. I don't remember.
So you just drink water?
Yeah, water.
Well, I wish I could live that
Dang,
way.
man, I wish I was that
Mhm.
disciplined.
Yeah.
Man, I love soda. But
I think
have a
once you
question.
put it for a certain time, your body starts responding like in a weird way when you're back to it.
Yeah.
So Ellie, and then I'll ask Victor after. Your best month. Your best month monetarily wise. Come on, you know what I mean. You could give a range.
What's the most amount of money you've made in a month?
So, I don't know. It's months, you know, they vary in real estate business, especially in the new construction is where I'm at. Could be inconsistent, right? It all depends on the market. But before I answer the question of how much I've made in a month or even a year,
Which you don't have to answer at all.
Right.
You'd
I
be
do want to
landing-
say that there was a time in real estate where I was selling out of a tent on State Road 207, opening up my first community there. Maybe there was like 50 houses there in that community. I had no model, no office. I was under a tent selling homes on the side of the road just to kind of prove myself in this new builder that I was working for. So I feel like I've gone through some experiences in my career that have shaped me and got me to where I am now. And so one of the best years I've had was my last fiscal year. I sold 43 homes.
Wow.
And I made well over 6 figures. But I put in that work and I was able to sell $30 million worth of real estate within a year.
Beautiful.
Wow.
$30 million of real estate I sold.
Nice.
I won't tell you how much I made, but I sold $30 million.
Wow. As for the month, he gave me a year.
You, Victor? What's your greatest month?
So last month, this month, we're in 100,000. Just gross. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Please do, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Gonna get to the million mark next year. That's the goal.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that?
30 million.
Yeah, baby.
Before we wrap up here, in one statement, like in one sentence, what's something you would say to somebody that wants to be in the position you're in right now, starting with you, Victor?
Excuse me, can you repeat the question?
In one sentence, can you say something of advice to someone that wants to be in the position you're in right now?
Position as a
As
A
owning
business
a
owner,
business owner.
if he wants to get into tinting, whatever.
Or even someone that has gotten past the situations you have.
can I say something has been running in my head?
Yeah.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah.
Just if you're interested in our business, this is gonna be like how do you say, a shout out to my business. We do window tinting, wraps, PPF, ceramic coating, stain correction, a lot of customization for cars. So it's not just tinting.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay. That
No,
just
don't worry. That's getting
okay.
clear.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
getting clear.
Oh yeah. So all right. I think good sentence as a business owner, as a entrepreneur, even a father, child, whatever. One sentence. Por su gracia. By his grace. It's PSG. It's por su gracia. So everything,
I
everything.
didn't know that.
It's por su gracia.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. Actually, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how I live for. That's
Yeah.
what I live for.
In one sentence, I think I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna stick to what I said earlier. Do whatever is it that you're doing, be the best at it, and the rest will follow. Be determined, be resilient, don't give up, and be consistent. And with consistency and with persistence as well, you'll get to wherever it's that you're trying to be. Is it an influencer, Instagrammer, podcast, whatever it is that is, you better make sure you have every week, every whatever, some episodes coming out.
Yeah.
Because eventually it will happen. You put in that work, God will open the doors.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're very, very thankful for you guys. I feel like just me, because I just started up my business recently,
Yeah.
and
You
Welcome.
What type of business?
construction, insulation, a little bit of everything. We're not trying to be like, oh, we can't do that type of job.
Yeah.
I just started. Like, why? Like,
Well,
we have the experience.
Tell me what
I'ma
type
test
of
you out.
projects are you working on right now, so people can know
So
some of the interesting
we
things
tend
that you do.
for insulation. My dad's been doing. I started with my dad. He's been doing it for over his whole life, basically. He came to America when he was 15, and he had a very kind of tough upbringing. He wasn't raised by his parents,
Wow.
So it was very kind of emotional to me, and I felt like he's been working for a company for over 20 years, kind of working for them, and he told me one time that he wanted to build he said, quote unquote, a effing enterprise, and I kind of took that very literal. So it's almost more emotional to me because the Bible says you want to so like Isael said, it's the only commandment with a promise. If you honor your parents, the days of your life will be lengthened or something like that. And I started that company with him, and we've seen God move in different ways that I never thought of. And I started it 3 months ago, and we having more and more and more scaling. But with insulation, sorry, I got a little bit emotional. Back to the insulation part, we mostly do maintenance. So we do maintenance for any type of insulation, so AC, duct, things that need repairs, water leakage, chill water, things like that. And then construction with almost anything drywall. We don't really do flooring like that, but drywall renovations, things like that. We're also trying to scale.
How do you see it in the future? So 5 years from now, what do you want to be doing with that business?
Hopefully, if God wills and allows, my own. I want my own place.
Go.
I want my own place. I want to have, people everywhere. And the biggest thing in construction now is the pay. You see a lot of companies making a lot of money, right? And you don't see the workers kind of make up for that. There's people out on roofs making $18, $20 an hour in the sun.
That's crazy.
While the company's making 30, 40% profits. So I feel like hopefully that's what we change, kind of actually being grateful for our workers and things like that is my biggest thing. But, we're just starting.
Take care of your employees for sure.
Support these new and upcoming contractors.
Yeah.
We want to wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you need your car's windows tinted or ceramic coated or anything,
PSG I don't know what he said.
Whatever he said, PSG Tints is your guy. If you need a house sold to you, or any real estate information, not free, that's your guy. We'll put his socials in the bio.
Yes.
Eudi Navarre, that's your guy right there.
And
We
if you
thank
guys,
what, sir?
and if you guys want a part 2 because I feel like there is so much that wasn't talked
yeah,
about.
there's so much.
Let us know on the comments if you guys think we were boring and actually had no sauce. It's okay.
Let us know too. Let us
Not
know.
interesting. Let us know. Let us know too. Let us know
Comment.
good or
By
bad.
the way,
Show some feedback to these bros.
what do you think about this setup?
I love it.
What I want them to know, and you guys give me some feedback on it.
I think it's beautiful.
The
I've
only
actually
thing
never been
I
in the
would
shop.
change is the chairs,
Yeah.
Of course.
but
Yeah.
maybe like 2 more of these.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
the only thing I'd do.
Okay.
Our
Okay.
producer would probably change
Yeah, no,
some other
definitely.
things.
No, but I love the setup. We're extremely grateful. Like, it's not like, us like that. You had to do this, and we're extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. I felt like a superstar. First podcast ever that I do. So
Same.
excuse me my
Thank you guys.
non-professional way to do
So,
podcasting.
we'll check back in when, there's a couple
I
more
think there
locations
has to
at
be a
least.
part 2 with
Yeah,
David
there has
too.
to be.
With David, we're missing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So part 2, let us know.
Upcoming.
Uh,
Thank you
thank
guys
you
for
guys so much.
watching. Stop being a hater. If you're a viewer, subscribe. Love you guys. And that's it.
That's
Hope
it.
you guys have a blessed day.
Wow.
Cut.
Wow.
Cut.
Wow.